The Pathways to Knowledge model of information processing identifies 6 stages that students go through when learning to process information. They are appreciation, pre-search, search, interpretation, communication, and evaluation. More information on this can be found in the Technology as Facilitator of Quality Education model. The students in this 5th grade class are beginning a unit on Shakespeare. The teacher facilitates the appreciation stage of information processing by fostering the students' curiosity about Shakespeare and his works. She does this in a variety of ways. First, the students listen to a recording of a Shakespearean play. They enjoy the task of identifying it as Romeo and Juliet. After viewing a video clip of the same scene, the students have a better understanding of Shakespearean language.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo?
Okay, does anyone have an idea what we might be studying? Wyatt, what do you think?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare, exactly. How many of you have ever heard this before? What we just listened to. Do you know what play that's from? Colton, what play is that from?
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet, exactly. This is going to be the exact same scene, and we'll see if it makes any more sense now that you can actually see the people and what they're talking about. The teacher also builds the students' interest in the lesson by discussing familiar sayings from Shakespeare's plays. This further demonstrates the appreciation stage of information processing. And this is what you need your pencil for. If you see up here it says, this is a saying sheet, and right here it says not heard or have heard. So what I want you to do is just go through and read each of these sayings, and it has the sayings in quote and then the play that they came from right after it. And then if you have heard that before and you maybe have some idea what it means, check the have heard column, but if you've never heard it before, then check the not heard column. What's another one that you've heard before? Cameron.
There's a method to my madness.
There's a method to my madness, or there's a method in my madness. That's also from Hamlet. What do you think that means?
There's always a way to be bad.
There's always a way to be mad? Is that what you said? So there's kind of a reason for doing these things? Okay. The students have to write a research paper on the life of William Shakespeare. The teacher reviews the 4 parts of a report with the class. This allows her to guide the students in defining their information needs. This demonstrates the pre-search stage of information processing. Colton, what goes in the body?
A section of your report will present the main ideas and specific details. This is where you will answer questions and describe the information you found. So it's like the main part.
Exactly. Kind of the meat of your report, right? All the details and all the facts. And most of that main stuff is what you're going to put in your body. The students will be using a teacher-created web quest in the computer lab in order to find answers to their questions about Shakespeare. First, the class has to brainstorm a list of factual and inferential questions. Developing specific research questions helps students as they begin defining information needs for their research reports. This demonstrates the pre-search stage of information processing. Jared, what do we need to do?
Find out some questions.
We need to brainstorm a list of questions. You're right. And there are 2 types of questions we're going to talk about. There are factual questions and inferential questions. What's a factual question? Colton, what's a factual question?
One that you've read and you know it's true.
Exactly. You can find the answer to that question very easily. You can see it written someplace. The students demonstrate the interpretation stage of information processing when they evaluate the research questions they have written. They write their research questions on the board, classifying them as factual or inferential. Go ahead, you can start clicking on some of the websites or coming up here to...
Can we use some of those?
You can use some of these, exactly, yep. Come add some of your own questions too. There's your outline sheets. The students enter the search stage of information processing when they begin their research. They engage in cooperative searching to find information relevant to their research questions. After they finish gathering information, the students learn how to copy and paste text from the internet into a word processing document. The information will be readily available to them as they write their reports.
Shakespeare's Scholar, the second to last one. Let's go instead of that. Let's go here. Yeah.
Some of you are starting to find the answers to your questions, which is great. So what we're going to do is, rather than having you write everything out by hand, because some of the answers might be kind of long, I'm just going to have you copy and paste just the answer to your question or just the information that you want into an AppleWorks document, and then we'll print everything out when we're done today. So then you have all the answers to your questions in one place.
After they have answered their research questions, the students start organizing information to complete an outline of their report. The students are in the interpretation stage of information processing.
And I have a paper copy of this that I will pass around to each of your groups here in just a little bit. Yep, because you already have one. If you look at it, it just says introduction, body, conclusion, and then you'll put your sources on a separate page. So you can just use this to help you figure out how you're going to write your paper, about where you'll put certain information. Like, are you going to answer a question in the first paragraph, in the second paragraph, in the third paragraph, in the introduction and the conclusion? Kind of help you map out how you're going to write your paper and where you're going to stick in all that information. So when you and your partner actually come in here to type it out, you'll already have a good idea about what order you're going to talk about things. Okay, so this is kind of a tool to help you.
The teacher will evaluate the Shakespeare reports with a rubric. The teacher facilitates the evaluation stage of information processing by giving the students access to the rubric through the web quest. They can use the rubric to evaluate the end product of their work before submitting it to the teacher. This encourages the students to become independent searchers. They take responsibility for the final grade they receive on the project.
Okay, eyes up here. You can see that there are 4 main things that I'm going to be looking for in your report. And if you want to get 1 point on students use pre-writing skills or their outline properly, all you have to do is include a few main ideas and very little details. That's all you have to do. But if you want to get all 4 points, then it says students included all main ideas and all details. Now what do you think? Do you want to get 1 point or 4 points? 4 points, exactly.
The students write and perform plays as the culmination of the unit on Shakespeare. Before performing their plays for an audience, the students give a presentation explaining their projects. The students discuss the process of writing the plays as well as the plays themselves. This demonstrates the evaluation stage of information processing.
We've been working on, we're about to tell you the history of our project. We have been learning about sonnets, similes, alliterations, and we've learned how to make them, and we've done our own. We've also been doing projects on Shakespeare.
After a while, we began to write our plays in our groups, and we used some of Shakespeare's techniques, but mostly we used our own. And once we had them all written out, we typed them on the computer, rehearsed them, and acted them out in front of our classroom.
The students demonstrate the communication stage of information processing when they perform their plays. They are expressing ideas through writing and performing an original drama.
I see